here's what's going on. And this is why when I saw the Jonathan Martin story last Wednesday on ESPN.com, the excruciatingly long search for the needle in the haystack of word salad, I didn't want to do it. We still had Super Bowl aftermath. There were so many different angles to address following Philadelphia's 40-22 win over the Chiefs that wasn't nearly that close. I saw it, passed it along to the PFT writers. We just agreed. The whole thing, it's 12 years old. It's old news. Nobody's interested. Nobody's interested. We weren't even interested in scouring through the straw to find the kernel of interesting information, if there even was one. Turns out there was one, because Jonathan Martin said in that story that he never believed he was being bullied by Richie Incognito and others. And that finally hit the fan on Sunday. We talked about this yesterday. What's happened is, because the guy who was accused of being a bully is now bullying people on social media who are members of the media to say, oh, he never did anything wrong. He's a saint, Saint Richie. It's caused me to go back and take a closer look, even though I have no desire to do it. It's old news. It's from 2013. But I've gone back and studied some of the things that happened at the time, because his entire complaint with folks like me, Adam Schefter, others in the media, we dared to pass along the findings made by Ted Wells in the investigation that his firm performed after this all happened in November or so of 2013. The report came out February 14 of 2014. So if he's got a problem with us in the media, the problem is with Ted Wells, who created the report. Because at the end of the day, we read the report and we shared with our audiences the information contained in the report. If there's information in the report that he doesn't like, take it up with Ted Wells. Take it up with the NFL. The NFL is the one that commissioned the report. Ted Wells is the one who wrote the report after interviewing more than 100 people. Now, two things. Number one, I've started reading the report again. I suggest that all of you find the report and read it. Any of the folks, and I know this won't happen, the mouth-breathing incels on the cesspool now known as X just want to say, sue, sue, sue. They don't care about the facts. That's the irony of this. They're so caught up in the facts have justified Richie that they won't bother to go look at the facts. Go back and read the Ted Wells report. It's available. I'm going to write a story later today that will link to it. The story we wrote yesterday links to it. The report itself, if you read it, it's kind of hard to make the case to the Pope for canonization of Richie Incognito. Second, and this is important too, because the social media Richie Incognito stands who are saying, sue, sue, sue. He's had 11 years to rebut the contents of the Ted Wells report. And look, I agree with the possibility, because it was proven out in Ted Wells' next report from Deflategate, that possibly he knew what the client wanted, the person paying his firm by the hour to do this investigation, and I'm sure they made many, many dollars because many, many hours were devoted. You interview more than 100 people in the Richie Incognito, Jonathan Martin case, you're going to rack up quite the lucrative bill. So if the same mindset that might have undermined the ultimate accuracy of the Deflategate investigation trickled over to the Incognito Martin investigation, it's fair to make that point. And he did to Bob Glauber of Newsday in 2015. And that got me to go back and look at what Richie Incognito's lawyer had to say when the Wells report first came out, Valentine's Day, 2014. Here's the statement that was issued by Mark Schammel, Incognito's lawyer at the time, to PFT on the day the report landed. Mr. Wells' NFL report is replete with errors. The facts do not support a conclusion that Jonathan Martin's mental health, drug use, or on-field performance issues were related to the treatment by his teammates. It is disappointing that Mr. Wells has gotten it so wrong, but not surprising. The truth, as reported by the Dolphins players and as shown by the evidence, is that Jonathan Martin was never bullied by Richie Incognito or any member of the Dolphins offensive line. We are analyzing the entire report and will release a thorough analysis as soon as it is ready. It's fine. It's good. It's fair. We're still waiting for the analysis. It's been 11 years. 11 years and 4 days. We're still waiting. Where's the analysis of the errors throughout the Ted Wells report? Richie Incognito, his lawyers, his agents, they've had 11 years and 4 days to detail everything in that report they disagree with. I've never seen, I've never heard of any type of thorough report that analyzes the errors, the flaws, the problems with the Ted Wells report. But Jonathan Martin gives an interview to ESPN.com and he says, I never believed I was bullied, and everything's false. Everything's fake. Everything's made up. It has been exhausting, folks, but it's not surprising. This is where we are. This is our current society. I made this point yesterday in the item that we wrote at PFT. Truth isn't truth anymore. Truth is what we choose to believe, and then the challenge becomes ignoring anything that might conflict with what we choose to believe. Facts don't matter. It's what we believe. And this is a political comment that applies to everybody on both sides. Facts don't matter. What matters is what we believe, and if there's anything out there that contradicts what we believe, we'll just ignore it, or we'll find a way to demean it, or we'll attack the messenger. But we won't acknowledge that there are facts out there that maybe cut against what we choose to believe because, it's too hard to choose. It's a matter of pride. We can't choose to change our beliefs because then we look stupid for believing them in the first place. So we're just going to dig in, we're going to double down, and we're going to join the mob. We're going to find comfort in others who are doing the same damn thing we are. That's exactly what's playing out on the cesspool now known as X. And why don't I leave? Because there are still people on Twitter who are sane, number one, and who want NFL information. I've contemplated getting off of Twitter many times over the past couple of years, ever since it changed ownership. But unless and until a viable alternative that can serve the same number of people that we serve, I got to take the bad with the good. Assholes are everywhere, and I can deal with them. But it really is exhausting to see people be so stridently ignorant and refuse to go examine anything that might disagree with the things that they choose to believe. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.